Good day, all. Hope everybody's doing well. Today, diverging a little bit from passages in pranayama, a little bit like I did last week. I guess it's something about the holiday season. Anyway, I'm getting into the Astavakra Samhita, and in chapter 6, verse 2, it just kind of stuck out a little bit. Verse 1, it goes something like this: Boundless is space, am I, and the phenomenal world is like a jar. This is knowledge. So it is neither to be renounced nor accepted nor destroyed. The imagery here Stavakra gives us is that we're boundless, right? Boundless as space am I, and the phenomenal world, that which is manifest, is like a jar. It's trying to contain us. This all goes back to the concept that uh, we are vast, right? We are expansive. We are only uh, constricted or contained by the illusory things that are around us, right? That we choose to define us. But in verse 2, this is what I want to get to. So, verse 2, chapter 6: I am like the ocean, and the universe is like the wave. This is knowledge. So, it has neither uh, to be renounced, nor accepted, nor destroyed. Now, the commentator goes on about how we're putting words, we're trying to define like these parts. Um, and if I may, this example makes clear um, the oneness of the self. Water is the real substance. The name and form of the wave are only apparent, right? Again, so it kind of goes back to this idea of the jar, right? These words, these labels are the jar that constrict us, that bind us. Similarly, the self is uh, is the only substance. The name and form of the universe are only illusory superimpositions. So, so this is what I really enjoyed about this passage, and that is that, as it states here, right? The I am like the ocean, and the universe is like the wave, but they're one and the same. That's the thing; they're one and the same, right? Where we are separating these two parts, right? So obviously, right, when we are trying to define the physical world around us, that's what we must do, right? We put labels on things. But in doing so, we separate ourselves, in this case, right, the ocean and the wave. But again, they're one and the same. And what Ashtavakra is really getting at here is that, you know, as we separate those parts, we become kind of closer to material nature. If you were able to view uh, last week's the passage 20 of Karika 20 from the Samkhya Karika a few weeks ago, I talked about the same exact thing, right? Where, as we define a thing, we become kind of closer to nature, not in a good way, right? Getting close to nature is always a good thing for sure. It helps us actually identify the spirit. But in this sense, we get closer to nature and further away from the spirit. We actually get as we get closer to the spirit, we become more knowledgeable, more self-aware. But the more we're hung up on these labels, the we become fixed, right? We become inert. We become like heavy in our ability to once again recognize our communion with the spirit, right? So Sastravakra says, yeah, the ocean and the wave, these are two different things, right? We can label them, but they are also one and the same, right? Uh, we are separate from those parts, right? So that part, right, for the ocean and the spirit is the wave. Then we are now separating ourselves, and it's kind of cool because the wave is moving away from us, right? The spirit is moving away from us. But once we realize that it's all kind of coming from the ocean, we're all one and the same, that the spirit is contained within us, then knowledge comes, right? The feeling of self knowledge comes. So we're all one, right? The spirit is within us. We just have to recognize it again. That's all it is. Right? This is a very common theme, right? Whether it's the Yoga Sutra or the Upanishads, it's just once again kind of removing the illusion, right? The Maya, removing the illusion that is cast down in front of us. That is essentially our mind, And once again, embracing the oneness of all things. All right, well, keep up with your practice. I hope hope you're having a good day. Be sure to take care of yourself and others. All right, peace.